1,
2,
3,
4.
Monster movie.
Fun time, go! Monster movie.
Fun time, go. Monster.
Movie.
Fun time.
Go!
Monster movie. Fun time, go.
With Precious D and Honeybee.
Fun time, go!
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends and neighbors, welcome once again to Monster Movie Fun Time Go's second annual 31 Days of Horror. Day number 18. I'm being joined today once again by my good friend Jed Dusler.
Howdy.
We're talking about Evil Dead, the remake / reboot from 2013. And we're also going to just chat a little bit about Ash vs. Evil Dead, the television show.
Which I need to start watching immediately before we start talking about it in depth.
So, as I said, this movie is from 2013. Of course, it's in color. It's 92 minutes. Directed by Fede Alvarez.
It's in color. Thank you for specifying.
Some of the movies we watch are in black and white, so I always say. His screenplays by Fede Alvarez and Orodo Sayegas. Produced by Robert Tappert, Sam Raimi, and Bruce Campbell has a production credit. 92 minutes, budget is 17 million, box office is 97.5 million.
Damn.
Yeah, cost the most, but made the most, and seems to have the biggest margin between the cost and the take. So, not too shabby.
Yeah.
It stars...
Might say it's a little shabby.
It stars Jane Levy as Mia Allen, Shiloh Fernandez as David Allen, Lou Taylor Pucci as Eric, Jessica Lucas as Olivia, Elizabeth Blackmore as Natalie, Phoenix Connolly as teenager, Jim McClarty as Harold, Cian Davis as old woman, Stephen Butterworth as toothless redneck, Carl Willits as long-haired redneck, Randall Wilson as Abomination, and Rupert Degas as Demon Voice. And there's a little tiny cameo of Bruce Campbell at the very end.
Well, I was going to save it for the very end of the podcast, but no.
Sorry.
You have to give away the ending.
Sorry. So this is... Can we call it a sequel at all?
I don't think so.
I mean, is there anything in it that contradicts the other movies? Mind you, the other movies have things in them that contradict each other.
Sure.
Is this a different group of people finding the same cabin, or is this just a remake and this is the first time people have found the cabin?
Well, I don't know that it's the first time people have found the cabin because, when they lift up the carpet, there's somebody that's already been...
Oh, right. Well, yeah, but in the other films, there'd already been people killed before they got there.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't think it's the same cabin. I literally just think it's a reboot. I don't think the previous movies existed, but I don't think that...
I just didn't know if the appearance by Bruce was meant to imply that it is in the same universe, or if it was just Bruce kind of giving his blessing to the film.
I think it was more than that. I mean, it was, to me, that's what I definitely think, because they just, I don't know. I don't see it existing in the same universe because it is definitely not funny.
Well, that's true. There's supposed to be something called Evil Dead Rise coming out next year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I heard they were going to make a sequel, and I believe that one will be a sequel, of course, to this one.
Yeah. Originally intended for digital release on HBO Max, it's scheduled to be released theatrically.
Probably when they were making it, it was just, I'm assuming it was probably during the COVID times, and
yeah,
they didn't know any kind of future of
sure
at the time.
I don't see any of the same. It's not written or directed by the same people. It's not starring any of the same people. So I don't know if it's really a sequel. I don't know if it's really a sequel to anything or if it's just another go at it.
Yeah.
I guess.
Well, once again, sequel logic no longer is implied, I don't think, in modern day movies. Because the way that they've started getting around some of that is by not calling it, Evil Dead Reboot 2.
Right.
It's just you have a subtitle or whatever you call it, secondary.
This appears to, from what little information we have, take place in an apartment building, not a cabin.
Okay. So once again, instead of it being sequel, most people now put it just in their world building. So this is the universe that Evil Dead exists in. Yeah.
All right. But let's not spend too much time on the thing that hasn't even come out yet.
Come on. We have like 6 more hours of this.
Oh, man. There's some podcasts that I've heard of. I haven't listened to any of them, that they go through a movie like 1 minute at a time.
Oh, my.
Each episode is just 1 minute of the film.
Ugh. No, I don't think I could do that.
And there's another one where I think the host makes different guests watch the same movie. Like every episode's about the same movie, but it's a different guest each time.
Man, you gotta really love that movie.
All right, so let's get into the summary from Wikipedia. Thank you, Wikipedia. The film opens in 2008 with a teenage girl running through the woods until she is caught by 2 pursuing hillbillies. Subdued with a sack over her head, she awakens to find herself tied up in the fruit cellar of a remote cabin where an old woman is reciting incantations from a strange book. The girl pleads with her father Harold to release her. After he refuses, she reveals her possession by a demonic spirit and threatens to kill him. So it's not at all what it first appears to be that is happening here. Harold sets her ablaze and shoots her dead.
Absolute misdirection at the very beginning.
Yeah. 3 years later, in 2011, I quite liked that. That was cool.
Mm-hmm.
3 years later, in 2011, David Allen and his girlfriend Natalie arrive at the cabin with their dog Grandpa, where they meet.
At all, by the way, I do not understand. After watching the movie, why they named the dog Grandpa, I just don't understand it.
Probably the writer's real dog was named that for some reason.
Awful name for a dog.
Or they trapped their grandfather's soul in the body of the dog.
Also awful.
That's quite a backstory. It's in the deleted scenes.
Damn it.
It's on the Blu-ray. They meet his estranged younger sister, Mia, and her friends Eric, a high school teacher, and Olivia, a nurse. The group plans to stay in the cabin while Mia overcomes her heroin addiction.
Yes, very, very
so this
theme. Drugs.
It's a new, it's a new element, not at all in any of the previous movies. Yeah. Mia begins having serious withdrawal symptoms and complains of an overwhelming scent of decay.
And I like that they did. Like I said, I mean, I'm not a fan of drugs or addiction in movies. Really, I mean, it's hard for me to watch movies that have that. Like what I'm thinking of. Not Requiem for a Dream. Oh man,
okay,
hard movie to watch. Great movie, but hard to watch. But I like that they added that element into this just because it grounds it a whole lot more, and it explains away things that are happening, not from very long, mind you, but it just, once again, it grounds it a little bit more. So I like that element of it.
Yeah. The friends also pull the brother aside and say, dude, this is the second time we've done this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're actually not expecting it to go well, but they're like, this has to be the last time. We're not, if she tries to leave, don't let her leave.
Yeah.
But then he's kind of wishy-washy. He hasn't been around, and he's like, well, but if she asks me to take her, I can't just say no.
And it also helps set up the fact why they're in a remote cabin.
Yeah.
It's not just, hey, we're going to go to this cabin and we're going to hang out. Right. Where most people would just walk in and be like, nah, I'm out.
Yeah.
It also belonged to them or something.
They're going to do it.
Set up all that kind of stuff, which is like, okay, I would have still left personally.
Right. She's going to break this habit the hard way.
Yeah.
Which is why she has her nurse friend there.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, she complains of an overwhelming scent of decay, which the others ignore. David discovers that the cabin cellar is littered with rotting animal corpses, a worn double-barreled shotgun, and a book called the Naturum de Monto. So we've gone back to the name of the book from the first movie.
Gonna go down
And as I mentioned, in case you didn't listen to that episode, this is not proper Latin, and it does not mean the Book of the Dead.
But
It
what I do
looks
interesting is it's definitely an Evil Dead reboot, not an Evil Dead 2 reboot.
that's right.
You know,
That's right.
it's definitely going back to the origins.
Yeah. Now, it does look like what this should mean is on the nature of demons, but it's not proper Latin grammar to mean that. Anyway, a curious Eric reads an incantation from the book, awakening a malevolent force. So they don't even play a tape this time. This dumbass just straight up reads it out of the book.
And while we're right there, I'm gonna try to throw these in while I in order if I can remember them. But the dude comes across this book, and this time it is bound in wire.
Yes.
Wire.
Barbed wire, holding it closed.
Barbed wire.
Doesn't take the hint.
No, exactly. And
Go.
if you have to have wire cutters to open a book and you still open it, something's wrong with you.
Yeah, it's on
Whatever
you, man.
happens, you have it coming.
Yep.
Al.
Yep.
And he's the
Yep.
teacher. Okay? He's the
Yep.
teacher.
Do not open this book.
Right. I mean, I don't want to
There's a-
say that this is why we have a teacher shortage, but it sure didn't help.
I just had a sudden image. Do you remember that child's book? There's a monster at the end of this book, where, folks, if you haven't read it, it's a Sesame Street book. Grover is the star of the book, and it's a very meta book. Grover's like, wait, what did that say? He's reading the title of the book, and he sees that there's a monster at the end of this book, and he doesn't want you to keep going because he's scared. There's a monster at the end of the book, and at various times he tries to nail shut the book and tie it up, and he does things to try and keep you from turning the pages.
And that's actually the source material for this movie.
Yeah, that just reminded me of that.
Yeah. I mean, right off the bat, I didn't like the long-haired teacher with the sex offender glasses at all.
Yeah. Spoilers, though, Grover is the monster at the end of the book.
And spoilers throughout this entire show.
The real monster was the friends we made along the way. Anyway, what is Mia? Let's see. He reads the incantation, awakening a malevolent force. Mia begins seeing a bloody girl in the woods and begs the group to leave. They refuse, thinking she must be seeing hallucinations. Mm-hmm. Which is, I mean, that's not unreasonable in the circumstances. Yeah. Mia steals Eric's car and leaves, but sees a naked girl and swerves, crashing into a tree. And is it a naked girl?
I mean, I think so.
To me, it looked like a naked man who was standing in the road and...
Oh, no, there's that same girl.
And because I rewound it, and it looked like he was, touching himself.
I could have swore it was the same girl that she ends up seeing later on, but maybe not.
Well, I'm not going to go rewind it again. But that's what I was like, wait, what is happening here? Anyway, she swerves and crashes into the tree. She runs into the woods where vines from a demonic tree trap her. After Mia sees a demonic version of herself, a vine enters her body, possessing her.
Much like the first one.
Yeah.
In much the same way.
I think it enters her in an inappropriate fashion. Not that there's an appropriate fashion to get possessed by demon vines, but...
Right.
It's very Japanese. Yeah. David finds Grandpa beaten to death with a hammer and goes to confront Mia in the shower. He sees her scalding herself and tries...
Just so we're clear here, Grandpa is the name of the dog.
Is the dog, yes. He sees her scalding herself and tries to drive her to a hospital, but a sudden rainstorm washes out the road. That night, Mia wounds her brother with a shotgun and vomits a large amount of red bile onto Olivia's face before Eric manages to lock her in the basement.
So lots of similarities already.
Yeah, but because as I'm watching this, I'm like, well, wait, who's going to be Ash?
Exactly.
And I had some vague idea that it was a girl named Ash because Ashley can go either way. Sure. Although I always think, whenever I hear Ashley, I think of Gone with the Wind. But
and
Ashley,
the brother, if I'm not mistaken, he's wearing the same kind of outfit that Ash wore in the first one. Blue kind of, I mean, it's pretty standard, like blue jeans and a kind of blue shirt, but it was still, it's almost like they were wanting you to think this is going to be the new Ash.
Yeah.
But you're sort of...
They sort of go back and forth because, Mia's the one being possessed and bothering everybody. Let's see. Olivia is later possessed by unseen forces while Eric discovers her in the shower mutilating her face. She stabs him repeatedly with a hypodermic needle before he bludgeons her to death.
Now, I don't want to say the guy,
Like you do.
but if anybody was going to be the first one, I'm glad it was him.
Well, yeah, he started it. He opened the
started
door.
it, he deserved. So once again, it's at this point, I'm not fearful for anybody else. I'm like, if they just knock this guy out, bitch had it coming.
But why wasn't he the one possessed?
Well, I don't know.
It seems like that's what should have happened.
Ash didn't get possessed whenever he read from or whenever he was listening to the deal or whatever. So, I mean, I get.
Well, he sort of does, though. He gets possessed and then gets better.
Yeah, which I always thought was weird because if you're going to use that logic, then that means anybody can get better and you're killing them before they can.
Yeah, you should
So
just
I always thought it was kind of weird logic anyways. But my whole thing was they could have wrapped up the movie, bada bing, bada boom, kill that guy, and everybody lives happily ever after she gets better. But they didn't go that direction.
No. Mia lures Natalie into the cellar and bites her before slicing her own tongue apart with a box cutter, and then forcibly kissing her. I don't remember this. David helps her.
These are things I hate. I hate needles, and I hate the idea of cutting paper cuts, tongue cuts,
razors.
No, I hate.
How do you feel? How do you feel about that scene in one of the Saw movies where somebody falls into a pool full of it's a pool full of syringes?
No, probably. No, I didn't watch it.
Okay.
It's like I know what scene you're talking about right now.
Yeah.
And she got that blade, and she was about to lick it. I had to go pet my dog, who's not named Blade, for a minute or two, and then just come back, peacefully, and assume I know exactly what happened. Oh,
yeah. God. So then she forcibly kisses Natalie, but I don't remember running around with a cut tongue through the rest of the movie.
She put some Neosporin on it. She's fine.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Rub some dirt on it. David helps her escape before locking Mia back in.
Walk it off.
Erica explains, possessed by a demon? Walk it off, you sissy. Eric explains that according to the book, the Taker of Souls must claim 5 souls to unleash the abomination. Natalie, convinced that her arm is infected, amputates it.
Right. Another similarity.
Yeah. Echoes of the original or the sequel. But then there's another. And Eric explains that Mia must be purified either by live burial, dismemberment, or burning, which must be what they were trying to do with the girl at the beginning. The now possessed Natalie attacks the pair with a nail gun, but David shoots her other arm off. Natalie returns to normal, but soon bleeds to death from her injury.
Mm-hmm.
David begins to douse the cabin in gasoline, but when Mia starts singing a song from their childhood, he decides to bury her instead.
Oh, wait. It was a part. Here's a part we missed, maybe here. They included, which I loved the fact that they included this. They did some quick pop cuts, just like I was talking about before, during the chainsaw sequence.
Okay.
Yeah. So there is a chainsaw in this one as well.
Yep.
They bring the chainsaw and they're going to allude, to what's going to happen. But during this scene specifically, they harken back to the whole quick pops and love it. I'm glad they kept that in there.
Yeah. Okay. So he digs a grave. David digs a grave and heads into the cellar to retrieve Mia, who attempts to drown him.
Mm-hmm.
Eric intervenes but is fatally stabbed. David sedates and buries Mia, and after hearing her heartbeat stop, quickly digs her up and attempts to use a homemade defibrillator to resuscitate her. So he seems to be trying to do some kind of loophole.
Right.
Like if she dies, it'll break the possession, and then he can revive her.
Yeah, well, think about it this way. They kind of alluded to it at the very beginning. Remember? When they're like, hey, she's tried this before. She technically died, and they brought her back to life. She was technically
one of the purification methods is live burial.
Right, which she was
buried
alive.
Yeah, he figures he can.
Yeah, they were alluding to that they were going to do that before. I just thought that was interesting too.
So he's doing there's no rule that says a dog can't be on the team kind of thing. There's no rule that says she has to stay buried. I can dig her back up and revive her.
Right. Once you're done, you can move to chapter 2.
Yeah. After several seemingly failed attempts, David covers his sister and says she's at peace. Returning to the cabin, he hears a voice behind him. He puts her in this red dress first.
I didn't understand.
Which is a little I don't know, maybe just so she could look cool at the
What was
end.
the dress doing? Did she?
But that means he had to undress his sister, or did he just throw it on over top of whatever?
Sure, he just threw it
I don't
over
know.
on top. But still, I guess I don't remember
And where was it?
driving with them. It was there already, which is kind of creepy.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know.
Did he just have it like in his back
Yeah.
pocket? Just
You never know.
have a spare.
You never know.
I guess.
Anyway, he hears a voice and finds Mia alive. David enters the cabin to retrieve his car keys, but Eric's possessed corpse stabs him.
Bastard.
David locks Mia out to protect her and shoots. He shoots a gasoline can, killing both him and Eric in the resulting blaze.
Mm-hmm.
With David's death, blood begins to rain down from the sky, and Mia is attacked by the abomination in the form of her demonic doppelganger. Mia finds a chainsaw and severs the abomination's legs, but it retaliates by overturning David's Jeep, which lands on her left arm and traps her. Pushed to her breaking point, Mia frees herself, losing her hand in the process. She just pulls it out.
Yeah, everybody in these movies, I don't know, they have a way higher tolerance for pain than I do. I mean, I'm just like,
I've got a
or I just wave maniacally with the chainsaw. I don't know, something. not pull my own arm off.
I have a pretty high pain threshold. I think I would do all right.
I do not like paper cut.
She grabs the chainsaw and bisects the abomination's head before it sinks back into the ground and the rain stops. An exhausted Mia leaves to search for help, unaware the Naturum di Monto is still intact and slamming shut on its own. Does it look like the other ones with the face on it?
That I can't remember. I don't remember there being a face.
So I don't think we mentioned this at all in any of these so far, but traditionally the Necronomicon is bound in human skin.
Mm-hmm.
And that is expressed in these movies by them having used the face to bind it. So the front cover is got like eye holes and a mouth hole on it.
Mm-hmm. I
So,
don't remember
but
that.
I think, but this one was so bound up in the, what do you call it? Barbed wire that you couldn't really see what the cover looked like.
But it still looked like it was made out of human skin. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe I say that just because I know the other ones, but it's just like, it looked like it was human skin. And I don't know how many books I've read that are bound that way, but it's been a couple.
Well, I don't know. But I mean, I've read leather-bound books, and you can, you make leather out of human. You can make leather out of human skin.
You can.
Don't ask how I know that.
Very
In a post-credit scene, an older Ash Williams, the protagonist of the original 3 Evil Dead films, is seen in shadowed profile. He remarks, "Groovy," before turning suddenly to face the camera. So
like, something that I did notice about that. So she lost her hand, picked up the chainsaw. What is everybody going to think? She going to be the next Ash, right?
Uh-huh.
But if I'm not mistaken, she didn't take it with her at the end, the chainsaw.
No.
And so there's no setup for a continuation of the character.
No.
So that would make sense.
And it does not appear that she will be in the Evil Dead
next
Rise.
one, right?
So.
From you saying that. So I just thought that was interesting. I just thought that was weird. She didn't travel back in time.
Yeah.
At the end of it.
What a ripoff, man!
Right.
No, this was definitely well made. It's all very professionally done. It all looks very modern and
it's very
slick.
modern.
It
And
looks
they
like
used a lot of practical effects. Holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah. They definitely spent millions of dollars on it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, and everybody does a good job, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I don't know. What do you think? What rating would you give Evil Dead from 2013?
I'm not a very gore kind of person, horror movie person. So there were a lot of times I was just like, I don't need to see this,
Right.
I also grew up in the generation where you didn't have to see necessarily somebody's head, the knife cutting through every little tendon or whatever for you to get the idea. Oh yeah, the hand's off now. Well, it's also on the floor.
Yeah.
You could cut to it and it was just like,
You want a more Reservoir Dogs approach?
I mean, it was very visceral.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not a fan of that. But I understand why it was needed for this, because it is a Sam Raimi he is producing, and so he does like that kind of stuff. And they
Right.
really wanted it to be a horror movie, not a horror comedy or supernatural even. They really wanted it to be more of a, or maybe supernatural gore, which is, I guess, not one that I'm also used to seeing. So, long story short, to answer your question, probably a 2.
Oof.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it a
Good
3.
movie in the sense that it hit all the marks. It was professionally done. It didn't look like a cheesy movie. None of that.
Right.
I'd never watch it again. Had way too much gore. The characters
Well, this is the second time I've seen it.
Were not memorable.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. Nothing to do bad with that. It's just
Right.
it wasn't for me.
I mean, I'm going to give it a 3 just on its basic quality. It's quality horror. It's a quality horror film.
2.5 for quality, I guess.
Chegou a melhor parte do podcast. É hora de provar a melhor Coca-Cola. A Coca-Cola sem açúcar. O sabor irresistível da Coca-Cola, sem açúcar e igualmente refrescante. Coca-Cola sem açúcar. A melhor escolha.
So let's just talk a little bit about Ash versus Evil Dead. This was a Starz
Season 1, Episode 1.
minute number 1. 3 seasons on Starz from 2016 to 2018.
Now available on Netflix.
This doesn't. Yeah. Ta-dum.
Ta-dum.
Bruce Campbell is back 30 years after his epic battle against the evil Deadites. I think I'll just quickly read this brief summary of episode 1, El Jefe. Ash Williams is living in a trailer park, working in a value shop department store. I don't know why it isn't S-Mart.
I don't know either.
But it's not. It's not.
Maybe
and spending.
we're named S-Mart now.
I don't know. Spending his evenings womanizing in dive bars. After seeing a demonic visage appear on the woman's face, Ash recalls having a recent marijuana-addled poetry read with a young prostitute from the Necronomicon, which he still keeps locked in a trunk. Elsewhere in town, Michigan State Police Detective Amanda Fisher investigates a disturbance at an abandoned house and encounters Ash's demon-possessed friend who kills her partner. After defeating the possessed woman, she is then forced to put down her undead partner who attacks her. Later, Amanda meets the mysterious Ruby Nobi, who seems too understanding about the horrors Amanda has witnessed. As more evil happenings occur around him, Ash realizes he unwittingly reawakened the horrible curse again and decides to slip out of town. But he is stopped by his co-workers Pablo and Kelly, who realize he is to blame for what is going on. After having to kill his possessed neighbor, Ash reluctantly decides to resume his old chainsaw-wielding persona once again. So Pablo and Kelly become his sidekicks throughout the movie. Ruby Nobi, and I did not rewatch these movies before watching the TV show, so I did not realize that she had the same last name as the professor in the first 2 movies.
I guess I didn't realize that either, but they talk about it in the thing.
That is played by Lucy Lawless. Yay. So we have Bruce Campbell as Ash Williams, Ray Santiago as Pablo Simon Bolivar, Dana De Lorenzo as Kelly Maxwell / Sorceress Kea. Jill Marie Jones as Amanda Fisher in season 1. Lucy Lawless, as I said, as Ruby Knowles / Rebecca Prevert. Michelle Hurd, I didn't remember this, as Linda Bates Emery in season 2. She's Ash's high school girlfriend. She's currently on Star Trek Picard.
Oh, okay.
Ted Raimi as Chet Kaminsky in season 2, an old friend of Ash's. Pepe Sanuga as Lacey Emery. Ariel Carver O'Neill as Brady Barr Williams, season 3, and Lindsay Ferris as Dalton. Also recurring characters, Samara Weaving as Heather, Hemke Medrea as El Brujo, Lee Majors. Lee fucking Majors as Brock Williams, Ash's father.
I love it. I do remember that.
I'll come back to that in a second. Stephen Lovett as Sheriff Thomas Emery, Joel Tobeck as Ball, Emma Burns as Zoe, Katrina Hobbs as Candace Barr, and Samantha Young as Natalie. Lee Majors, ladies and gentlemen, for the younger ones in the audience, was very famous in the 1970s for playing Steve Austin, the bionic $6 Million Man in the show $6 Million Man. And in the 80s for playing Colt Seavers in The Fall Guy, which was a show about a stuntman did he do bounty hunting? He was always getting into some kind of
I don't know.
not movie related shenanigan. And was also famously married briefly to Farrah Fawcett, who was famous in the 70s for those younger people out there. I think he was a perfect choice to play Ash's father. I loved it.
Yes, agreed.
Loved it. I would like to see more of him doing that kind of thing.
Yeah, it was nice to see him, I don't know, have fun with the character.
Yeah. He was also in the Big Valley back in the 60s. So in this series, it's kind of his fault. He's unleashed the Deadites into the world, and every episode he and his buddies got to fight some Deadites. Lucy Lawless's character is kind of actively trying to unleash shit. So there's a lot of fighting Deadites and trying to find the way to stop this whole thing.
It really is well done. I was completely skeptical going into it.
Uh-huh. It also kind of picks and chooses what pieces of the films it wants to use. It uses a little bit from all of them. Mm-hmm. In that he's missing a hand, like in the second film, but it refers to his sister and him possibly having killed her because she was a Deadite, which the sister only appears in the first film. She's not in the second film. Folks, if you weren't listening, the second film is basically a second draft of the first film, so it kind of covers the same story, but with different details. So his sister is not in the second version of the story, but it's in the second one that he gets his hand cut off. So they just, they're not overly concerned with continuity, as these films never have been. So they don't worry too much about
lack of continuity.
Yeah. Yes. Is there anything in the series, do you recall, that explicitly addresses the time travel from the third movie? Did that happen in this timeline?
That I don't remember.
Yeah, but the thing is, the idea of him working at a Kmart, Walmart sort of a place comes from the third movie.
Right.
But it's not the same chain, and I don't know that he ever talks about having traveled to the past, which is, you'd think it would be a thing, because at the end of the third movie, he's talking about it, and people seem to believe him.
He told the story enough times that he's like, you know what, nobody believes me when I tell them this shit anyways. Yeah.
He's got the car that appears in all the movies.
Which was Sam Raimi's car, by the way. Yeah,
the Delta 88. It's in a previous episode in the reboot, the girl's just sitting on it. Nobody actually drives it. It just seems to be a...
I don't know that you could drive anymore.
rusted out relic that's at the cabin in the reboot movie. You said you haven't watched the third season?
I have not, no.
Yeah, so yeah, go watch it.
I will. You can talk about it on this thing. I mean, it's not gonna...
Well, it ends in a way that looks like it's going to send things in a completely new direction, but then it didn't get picked up for a fourth season, so...
Gotcha.
That's a shame. But it's all kinds of fun. Bruce Campbell's great in it. His two little sidekicks are great. They have a kind of will they, won't they kind of thing going on. Well, Pablo is definitely enamored with Kelly. They've been working together, and I think he's been pining for her, but she hasn't noticed him. But then as they start going through stuff, she, I think, starts to notice him. Mm-hmm. Trauma will
they,
bond
won't
people.
They? Yes. Ross and Rachel.
It might, yeah. I can't remember, but I think things might end badly for both of them, but I'm not certain. Or maybe they come out okay. I don't know. I probably have to rewatch the last couple of episodes.
Yeah, I really do. I just need to watch season 3, and just a lot of it will come back. A lot of it's come back just us talking about it. Like I remember when they went to go visit Pablo's uncle or something who was like a shaman.
Yes.
Episode.
And when they talk about Bruce Ash being El Jefe, which is literally means the boss, but they talk about it as if it's some sort of supernatural almost entity or a chosen one kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm. Has its own. It's known just like in Army of Darkness when they're talking about the chosen one and that kind of stuff. The chosen one that will fall from the sky. I think they're just trying to implement that same kind of lore.
Yeah. So anyway, I really like it. I recommend it. Of course, Lucy Lawless is great. It's always great to see her, but she's just awesome in this as Ruby, who's basically the bad guy.
Ruby Soho.
Yeah.
There's songs written about her, man.
Yeah. I think it's a different Ruby.
Oh, okay.
She's not Ruby Tuesday either.
Oh, okay. Good. I hate that restaurant.
I also want to mention that Ellen Sandweiss, who was Cheryl Williams in the original, is who comes back to play her in season 2.
I do.
And Nicholas Hope as Professor Raymond Noby. Did he play him? Well, we just hear his voice in the other movies.
Well, you see him that one time during the there's that scene where he, like I said, he comes as an apparition with his voice, and it's his head.
He's just listed as a special guest, so I don't know why that was if that meant something. But yeah, it was not. It's cool that they got. And in that first movie, they probably did a lot of just casting of their friends.
Yes.
So it's nice that they called her up to come.
Called her back.
Come back and do it
to the majors.
Yeah, she's she is a voice cameo as Cheryl in the 2013 Evil Dead.
Oh, okay.
She's got a few credits, not a lot. She's in My Name is Bruce playing Cheryl.
Well, now I got to go watch that.
There you go.
Be next.
Was it the last episode? Yeah, My Name is Bruce is a Bruce Campbell movie where he's playing himself. It does not appear to be readily available anywhere right now.
That's good.
That's annoying. On Amazon, it says this video is not currently available to watch in your location, which is why you need Surfshark VPN.
Oh, you need physical media. I recommend it.
I was just pretending we had a real sponsor for a second.
Of course. Of course.
Do you have any final thoughts on any of this before we wrap it up?
No, like I said, I still need to watch season 3 to kind of get all of it, fresh in the brain there. But from what I remember, once again, I went in very skeptical, going, okay, well, let's see what they do with this. Let's see where they cheap out. Let's see where, but it didn't have that feel at all from me watching it. So I rather enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too. I'm giving the series as a whole 4 stars, 4 pumpkins.
4 pumpkins. Hey, that's more than you're giving any of the movies.
Yeah. No, I did like it a lot more than I liked any of the movies. Absolutely.
Interesting.
Absolutely.
Well, since I haven't seen season 3, I can only rate the ones that I've seen. So I'd probably say 3.5 pumpkins. They sliced one of those pumpkins with that chainsaw, so you only have half of one.
Okay.
But I'm sure it would inch its way up to 4. That other half to.
My Name is Bruce on Amazon. The DVD is $62.
Oh shit! Sometimes, not that I recommend this at all, but you can find it on YouTube.
There's other places. I might know a guy.
Well, I looked on here. It says Tubi, but that's not the right My Name is Bruce movie.
Right. There's another movie, They Call Me Bruce, that is something else.
What is the actual name?
My Name is Bruce.
Okay, that's what I thought.
There's another movie called They Call Me Bruce.
Which is a documentary.
That's about a guy who idolizes Bruce Lee.
Right.
There's a triple feature DVD that has it for only $39.96. Supposedly this Blu-ray is $13.80. Is it the right region though? Sometimes you got to be careful on Amazon. Make sure that it's the correct region.
Yes. That
can be an issue.
Well, I'm not seeing it on YouTube either, unfortunately. Or fortunately, however you want to look at it.
Yeah, this is not.
But you can watch the trailer there.
There you go. All right, I think that's gonna wrap it up. By next year, we'll somehow get a hold of a copy of My Name is Bruce so we can talk about it.
Sounds good to me, man.
There's places on the internet where you can find things. I'm
going to go to MySpace and search for it. I'm going to go to ICQ and chat some of my friends in there, and maybe they can lead me to a LimeWire link. I'm just trying to throw as many retro things as I can here.
I'll hit up all my contacts on Friendster, see if any of them have a copy.
I'm sure there's a GeoCities page that has a link.
Hey, I used to have a GeoCities page.
That does not surprise me. You should go and find it and see what your user count, people have up to. That little.
Is that even still function?
Hell if I know.
I'll look it up later. I will make you folks. So it says Yahoo GeoCities when I go to Wikipedia. All right, that's gonna do it for us for tonight, folks. Thanks for joining us. Come back for the rest of 31 Days of Horror. Until next time, remember to keep calm and seek shelter in basements. Don't misuse science. We will not see you, but you will hear us next time on Monster Movie Fun Time Go. You've been listening to Monster Movie Fun Time Go. If you enjoyed the show, please rate and review us on your podcasting platform of choice. Our theme song is by the Texicano Folk Rock Punk featuring Lita Lopez. You can support the show, find links to our social media, and even leave us a voice message at anchor.fm/MNFTG.